Hey guys, people always want to ask me how to perform well for a custody assessment. So I want to talk to you about the secret sauce of performing well for a custody assessment, and it involves managing your brain. My best advice, aside from preparing for the custody assessment, as you can see from my last video, is to give your brain a good clean out. Your ability to manage your mind is the secret sauce that's going to make you successful and more compelling for your custody assessment. It will totally, having the right thoughts will totally influence how well you do or don't show up for the custody assessment. So I want to show you by using the model. Quick review with the model for those of you who are new to my videos. The model has 5 components to it. CTFAR, circumstance, thought, feeling, action, result. The circumstance would be just the facts of the problem. I have an assessment coming up. You're going to have lots of thoughts about that fact. We're going to pick one of those thoughts that's really common to all the clients that we're going to examine. And that thought matters because that thought generates a feeling or an emotion inside of you. And your emotion is what drives your action, how you behave, how you show up for that assessment. And the way that you show up for the assessment, all the things that you do and don't do, say and don't say, the way you behave will be the result that you get in that assessment. So let's look at this together. Circumstance. Custody assessment starting on Friday, let's say. That's just the undeniable facts of the situation. Typical thought that you guys have about it, don't deny this, I know you do. My ex is going to be able to manipulate the assessor. That's all my clients think that. So when you think the thought that your ex is going to be able to manipulate the system and manipulate the assessor, how does it make you feel? Just one word. For most people, it makes you feel pretty terrified and afraid. Might make you feel anxious. Might make you feel defensive. So all of these feelings, fear, terror, anxious, will drive certain actions and drive behaviors from you and influence how you show up for the assessment. And this is what I really want to show you guys. So how do you show up when you're feeling afraid with the assessor? Well, you're probably going to want to convince the assessor of your ex's pathology and profile. You're going to maybe want to diagnose your ex. You're going to want to explain the dynamic between you and your ex. You're going to want to talk a lot about your ex and all of your ex's shenanigans. You're also, in advance of the actual assessment, probably going to worry a lot if you're believing that your ex is going to manipulate the assessor. You're going to spin about it. You won't sleep and you won't do the good things I want you to do to prepare properly for the assessment. Also, during the assessment itself, you're going to be so busy trying to influence how the assessor sees your ex and make sure that the assessor understands the lay of the land, you're not going to be focused on advocating for your child, which is really the purpose of the assessment. The result of all of these actions is that you yourself are showing up as being kind of manipulative. You're trying to manipulate the assessor and you're not showing up 100% as your child's advocate. All right, so here's the thought. My ex will be able to manipulate the assessor. This is a poisonous thought. It's going to make you show up very desperate, anxious, defensive, fearful, and it's going to pull you out of the lane of advocating for your child. Now, I know I can't make you get rid of this thought. I know all of you believe it deep in your hearts, and I get it. So all I can do for you is poke a few holes in that thought and loosen it up a little bit. Like maybe if I show up as my best self, I'll be equally or more compelling than my ex. Or the assessor has a lot of experience recognizing bullshit. That's something else you can think about. But I want you to give, so you get to have this thought. If you really love it, you can have it. I just want you to recognize that it's pretty poisonous. And I want you to give equal airtime in your brain to another thought that is equally, if not more believable to this thought. You can still have this thought. I'd love you to start poking some holes in it, but I'm going to give you another thought to consider. This is the model we're going to practice before an assessment. Same circumstance, assessment starting on Friday. Thought, the best thought you can have is, I am the best advocate for my child. There's nobody better on this planet to advocate for my child. I'm the best advocate. Can you believe that thought as much as you believe that other thought about your ex manipulating the assessor? I imagine you can. Now I want you to give equal airtime to this thought, and here's why. When you think this thought and focus on this thought, I'm the best advocate for my child, how do you feel? Makes me feel confident, calm and confident. And that is the feeling that is going to drive the best possible action during the assessment. So what's the best action? Well, prior to the assessment, I want you to prep. We're going to prep the docs we talked about last week with all your top parenting concerns. And you're going to review the documents. You might even practice with a coach, because you're going to be feeling like you're the best advocate and you want to use this to the best of your ability. You are going to show up at the assessment and you're going to advocate for your child. You're going to stay in your lane and out of the assessor's lane and out of your ex's lane. Just stay squarely in your lane as the best possible advocate for your children. And result is you will actually show up so much more compelling, and you will successfully advocate for your children.